All right, guys, we had a good one today. This is 7 tips to make your next webinar print cash. And when it comes to running webinars, most of you are going to spend way too much time tweaking on slides and writing headlines and trying to figure out copy for your landing page and rehearsing the perfect pitch to get every person in the room to pay you money and make $1 billion. And after spending over $1 million on webinars of my own money, I can tell you that the one thing separating the highest earning webinars from a miserable 2 hours of wasted time and money is that every single great webinar makes a sale before the webinar even starts from the system built around it. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Landon Atkinson. I have generated over 47,000 book calls and $20.1 million of cash in this industry. And a very large piece of that revenue is directly attributed to webinars. Needless to say, I've tested hundreds of variations of strategies and script models and decks and pitches. So I guess I do know a little bit about how this works. And not only do we use this internally, but I've used this exact funnel for dozens of clients, and it books calls like clockwork, regardless of the niche that we put this in. We helped a men's brotherhood offer nearly 3x their monthly revenue with the model. Michael ripped off $40,000 in the first 2 weeks on the model. We even had a client that closed a $75,000 wired PIF from a call that booked from his webinar. So if you are tired of pretty webinars that do not convert and do not make you money, these are the 7 moves that you need to make to book more qualified book calls and do it consistently. Number 1, you need to pick a problem-focused topic, not a solution-focused topic. The biggest problem that I see with webinars is that they are often marketed as vanity solutions rather than poking needles at a major pain area. And the problem with being solution-focused is that it doesn't actually carry enough urgency to get dozens of people to not only just book calls, but pay you money after the webinar. And this is one of my favorite quotes I've ever read, is that pain hurts more than pleasure feels good. And your webinar needs to be the path to relieving their deepest pain. So for example, this is the same webinar with 2 different headlines: how to make $10,000 per month flipping houses versus how everyday people are quitting their jobs, retiring in their 40s, and living their dream life with this 2 hour per day real estate hack. We are marketing the same product with tremendously different angles. So how to make 10K per month flipping houses. People, of course, want to make 10K per month, but they don't view this as life or death. They may not love the current life that they live, but they don't have a ton of urgency to go learn something completely new if the return is just 10K per month. You got to remember, people are not just equating the price of your product. They're equating the price of learning all of these things, what goes into it, the time investment, how hard it is. They're adding all of this up in their head, right? Now, if we move to the second headline, how everyday people are quitting their jobs, retiring in their 40s, and living the dream life with this 2 hour per day real estate hack. Now, people have immensely negative feelings about having to work into their 60s or 70s and not being able to retire. Only 50% of Americans are actually satisfied with their jobs, and only 47% of Americans are extremely satisfied with their life. You have 3 primary pain areas that drive over 50% of this country insane. So before you run your next webinar, you need to do this. Ask yourself 3 to 5 most painful problems that your audience faces. Now you need to ask yourself which of those creates the most urgency, and then write 3 to 5 headlines in the following format. You're not going to use these headlines in your actual landing page unless you want to. You can try to, but this is an exercise to use to identify the most painful and urgent driven topic to actually do a webinar on. You're going to say, I will build, install, or show you a unique tool, method, or system so you don't have to deal with pain, experience, problem. Choose the most agitating offer in the simplest thing that you could ever do with this. You can even take this to Claude or ChatGPT and write this out, give it some context on what you're trying to identify of what creates the most urgency, and let it pick the most urgent one for you. Or if you don't have one that creates urgency, just let it write 10 variations for you. Quick tip for this: the best topics reveal why their current approach is broken. So for example, why your current Facebook ad setup is costing you 30% of your profit is going to be more urgent based and ultimately pull more attention than how to run Facebook ads. Number 2, you need to use a low ticket offer that leads into a live training. Now, this is my personal favorite funnel. Our most profitable acquisition system in our business to this day is our low ticket to live training funnel. It runs at almost a 7x ROAS, and after tailing cash, just under 10x. So we don't collect 100% of cash up front. You're never going to piff everybody unless you have a insane financing source. Most of you guys are not going to collect 100% of your cash up front, and you will have tailing cash. We also install this funnel into 100% of our clients' businesses to help them hit their first 100K months. And it's literally the most bulletproof model for anybody that wants their baseline revenue to maintain 6 figures per month with little to no complexity. Now, I know this is going to be small, so feel free to pause this video, zoom in, whatever you got to do here, but this is one of the low ticket funnels we use to drive traffic to our training. This funnel ran at a 1.25x ROAS on the front end before any high ticket sales. So we could spend as much as we wanted to profitably every single day, funnel all the cash right back into our ads account, paying off the card every single day, and just keep spending and spending and spending and spending, and getting more and more and more customers, which then turned into high ticket buyers. And the reason why this works so well is your room, once you get to the live training, is filled with buyers. It's not freebie seekers. These people are 100 or 10 to 100 times more likely to buy from you again. On top of that, you liquidate your ad spend on day one so you can spend without the revenue leg. So unlike a book a call funnel where you might spend 5K, 10K trying to get all these calls and you're waiting, or even a standard webinar funnel where you spend all this money to get people to sign up and then you're just waiting and waiting and waiting for them to actually come onto the call and then extract your cash back. You move all of that to day one. So now you have no issues whatsoever in spending in your ad account, and you can healthily keep the business operating day by day by day. You also don't have sales breath, so your audience can feel when you have to sell to make your money back. And there's nothing worse as a consumer than getting on a webinar and being sold for 2 hours straight. Now, when you're free flowing and actually providing value, the audience will notice this and they will reward you. They are going to pay you more money because you didn't try to take it from them. It's amazing how this works. Now, in my last video, I actually break down this funnel in depth. And if you want to see exactly how to execute this, go ahead and jump over to that video and give it a watch. Number 3, you need to keep your registration page stupid simple. So David Ogilvy talks about how in marketing, you can imagine your entire campaign as a single dollar. And then this is his quote: on average, 5 times more people read the headline than the body copy. When you have written your headline, you have spent 80 cents out of your dollar. So in other words, stop wasting 10 fucking hours writing copy that nobody cares about and nobody's going to read. It doesn't matter. You are wasting your time and the viewer's time. You don't need to do it. This below is one of my highest performing webinar funnels that we have ever ran. It has a headline with a pre-headline and a sub-headline, a short video, and a button. And the video's purpose is just quick proof of what they're going to get on the webinar. That's it. The whole funnel. There's no testimonials, no copy, nothing but a headline, 6-minute video, and a button. And if you read this headline, it says live workshop Monday at 1 p.m. CST, calling out our audience, coaches, and school community owners. Copy the funnel we use to launch a brand new offer, profitably go from 0 to 899 paid members, which is a very key point for school communities, collect 150K in high ticket sales, pulling out coaches, and do it in 60 days on school in a brand new niche, no followers, no branding whatsoever. Now, I do not understand the obsession that everybody has around pumping 10,000 words on a sales page and trying to sell to the moon. Your only job is to make someone's curiosity outweigh the barrier between the landing page and the reward. For example, the opt-in or the purchase. So if their curiosity outweighs the cost of your product, which may be free in the webinar funnel, or we do paid webinars as well, you will win. People will opt in. So they don't care about you. They don't care about your clients. They care about themselves. They should be reading your headline thinking, well, how the hell did he do that? I want that. And similar to a free lead magnet, webinar registrations are purely impulse decisions. So curiosity creates impulse. And you notice how my headline says 0 to 899 paying members, 150K in sales, 60 days, brand new niche, no followers. These are all curiosity triggers for a massive pain point that I know my audience has. They all will make the reader ask, how is he doing it? The trade-off that they make with me to fulfill that curiosity is so minimal that they literally do not think twice. Hey, if this is making sense so far and you're starting to see that you don't need more people, you just need a better system, that is exactly what we build. We take what you already do, set it up so the funnel does all of the selling for you. And there's a link below where you can see exactly how it all works. It's the same setup that my clients use to scale without adding more chaos to their business. Number 4, sell the call, not the coaching. So let me break a belief that you have stuck in your head. The job of your webinar is not to sell your offer. Because here's the thing, people will buy from people they trust, not a presentation that they watch. A 45 to 60 minute webinar demonstrating that you actually know what the hell you're talking about will win you more clients than begging them to buy from you for 2 hours. Every single one of my 6-figure webinars has included exactly 0 slides talking about what I'm selling. Instead, I will end every webinar with the same offer. I will tell them if you are interested in speaking to myself or one of the executives about how we can help you implement the system, go to this link and schedule a call. So I'm going to show you the exact set of slides from one of my webinars, which this is one of our most recent webinars that we did. After I have gone through all of the training inside of the webinar, I then transition it and I tell them, this is the part of these calls where most people pitch you an offer. I know this slide's small, pause the video, take a screenshot, whatever you need to do. I would tell you that you have 3 options when you leave this call. Do absolutely nothing, take the guide, put it in practice, and never look back, or just have us do it for you. However, I'm not going to pitch you an offer. For anybody interested in speaking to myself or one of the executives about how we can help you implement the system, you can go to this link, reserve a time, and book their call. On this call, we're going to do a full analysis of your business, and if the puzzle pieces fit, we can discuss working together. And just like clockwork, over 30% of the room books a call with us. The reason why this works is insanely simple. I will have spent a full hour literally teaching them how to do the exact thing that I do and create a reciprocity bias with my audience. Now, I can also free flow because I have no focus on selling and my audience engages when they feel my energy. I also give irrefutable proof that I can get results, building a massive layer of trust, and I maintain the curiosity by keeping their focus on the result. So they aren't weighing the value of things that they're getting. So you have to make 100% of the experience about them. And the audience, if the audience cannot walk away and actually get a tangible result, you failed them. All right, now that we're clear on that, let's move to tip number 5. You need to use an application form to actually pre-qualify people booking calls. We talked about this in my last video, so I figured I'd actually just bring the same message to this video. And that is that contrary to what the mega influencer folks online like to do, you should not be selling to everyone. You can call me crazy, but I don't believe in grifting the last penny out of someone's pocket if I know it's not going to benefit them at this point in their life. You're not only wasting their time, but your time as well. And if your offer, your high ticket offer, can truly get someone results, for somebody that has absolutely no money, feel free to do this. But that is not the case for 99% of high ticket premium offers. Maybe your low ticket offers or mid ticket offers, but not your high ticket offers. And that being said, you should be canceling 20 to 30% of the calls that hit your calendar. And the easiest way to keep your calendar efficient is by placing an application in front of the calendar that people will go to on the live trainings. And how are you actually going to build this application? You primarily are trying to uncover a few things, just their ability to invest, their willingness to invest, and their experience in the field that you're actually working. So your application will be about 5 to 8 questions max. You can use the exact same flow that we use. We basically ask for basic info like name, email, phone, niche specific, what's your experience, are you already doing these things, and describe your business if it's B2B. So for instance, if you work B2B in coaching or services and you only work at the specific subset of businesses, make sure they identify as that specific subset. And if they don't, cancel their call. There's no point in taking that call. Financials, current monthly revenue or income, goal revenue or income. If it's a financial based offer, are you willing to invest X dollars to get Y outcome? Number 4, pain points. What's actually keeping you from getting to the outcome? How long have you struggled with these things? Now, these aren't going to be anything that we actually cancel the call based on, but we just use it as ammunition for our sales process. And once you have your application live, you have 2 options to keep your calendar filled with qualified leads. 1, you can cancel appointments that do not qualify via automation, or 2, you can redirect all DQs to a separate page after application. Me personally, I like to cancel the appointment and let the prospect know why it was canceled. If they made a mistake, for instance, they clicked a button that was incorrect, or they chose the wrong thing, or whatever it may be, usually they will respond and we can get them back on. This is also like an intent trigger for people. And if you cancel their call and then they reach out and say, hey, no, it was my mistake, I still want to take the call. Usually that's someone that is typically looking to spend money. So on the flip side, when you redirect DQs, they'll always just go back, they'll change their answers and they're going to book anyways. And it's a waste of time. So just don't do it. Number 6, follow up with email value sequences, not typical reminders. The most throughput improvement that you can make to your webinar is your show rate, and you can change absolutely nothing about the entire thing outside of increasing the show rate 5 to 10%, and you make 5 to 10% more money. So that being said, we have tested every which way but sideways to get people to show up live on our webinars. And there's 2 ways that we found that basically work for almost any single person that will ever run a webinar. Either move it behind some form of paywall or use a value sequence in place of standard reminders. Typically, I'm going to have people do both, but I don't want to focus on pay first webinars. I covered that in my previous video, and that's not what we're going to be focusing on here. The most universal way to increase show rate for almost anybody watching this is to install a value sequence. So what is a value sequence? Rather than sending generic reminders to get them to show up to your webinar, you're going to send 1 email per day answering the biggest questions someone will have about your offer. And this is a form of pre-selling where you are naturally breaking objections that somebody would typically have on a one-to-one sales call with you. So here's what to actually include in these emails. You need to include an answer to a big question that somebody will have about your offer, a case study of a client that got a result pertaining to that question, and a reminder of how you'll be explaining further on the webinar. So below this is the exact prompt that I use to extract all the questions from my audience that they would typically be asking and then write emails to answer them. And before you use the prompt, all you have to do is clearly list out who you serve, your deliverables, your price, the clearly defined outcome, and literally any context surrounding your offer that people would possibly need when buying. Now, the prompt. I'm not going to read through this entire thing. I have listed this here with everywhere where you would need to put information. You can pause the video, screenshot this. I'll try to link this in the description as well below. But this is the exact prompt that you need. It's going to walk you through. All you do is put this in, and ultimately you will get exactly what questions people are asking underneath, as well as recommendations on how to answer them and everything that you need to actually go and write your emails. Number 7, track registration to call metrics, not just costs per registration. Now, literally just blows my mind how many people track the completely wrong metrics in a funnel. And how many times have you seen an ad or you've seen somebody on Instagram that posts a video and they talk about how they got $2 webinar registrations? And the funny part is that it literally does not matter. Not even the tiniest of little bit does it matter if your registrations are $2 or $10 or $100. I have paid webinars that cost me $95 to get a registration that collect more cash and at a better ROAS than I do with the same webinar ran as a free training where it cost me $9 to get a registration. It 100% is dependent upon the type of people entering into the webinar. So this is why you need to track the whole funnel and optimize around your cost per qualified booked call. So these are the metrics right here. So ad spend, registrations, attendees, calls booked, calls showed, and closed. Track the following cost metrics: cost per registration, cost per live attendee, and cost per qualified booked call. Then you're also going to track these non-cost metrics like registration rate, webinar show rate, and webinar to call rate. These 3 are your levers to pull on to improve the cost per qualified book call. If your registration rate is low, change your headline. If your show rate is low, improve the pre-call sequences and install better emails. If your on-call conversion rate is low, improve the webinar deck. Improve how you're actually pitching the call. This is the never-ending whack-a-mole that you need to play as a marketer. And you have to remove your emotions from everything you do, because a lot of the shit that you're going to do will not work, and that's completely fine. Just keep optimizing for a lower cost per qualified book call, and you will continue to make more money. All right, so what's next? If you're thinking, yes, that is exactly what I need in my business, there's a link below inside the description where you can book a one-on-one call with me. And on that call, I'm going to walk you through the same exact setup that I used with my clients, the one that's helped them scale past 50, 100, even a few clients past $250,000 with the exact system. And I'm going to show you how we build funnels like the webinar funnel I showed you today, the kind that sells without chasing clients around and following up after failed sales calls. You're going to see exactly how it works step by step. And once you see it, you're going to get why this replaces every single complex funnel that most coaches were taught to use. So go ahead and click that below, and I'll see you there.